Hi guys, welcome back to episode 3 of Mum Can You Not? My name is Corinne Sky and this is my beautiful co-host, my mommy.
Hi guys, how are you?
So today is a very special day.
Yeah, it is a special day.
It is Mother's Day, but
Yeah.
also,
My birthday.
yes. So I had a question for you, Mum. What do you think you've learned, of all your 21 years of life?
Before I answer that question, right? I was just thinking, because we shot the first two podcasts, and we were not sure about how they're going to be received, right? So I was thinking, every time when you shoot things, you're thinking, oh, it's all banter. And I just realized it's taking off. You guys are loving it. And I thought, you know what, let me go and have a makeover and take this thing seriously. Because last time I literally just wore my slippers now and came. But today I thought I'll make an effort and come and, say thank you guys for those who've watched and those who continue to support us on all the social media platforms we are on. I am very, very grateful. So you were asking me a question, Coco.
Yes. I was asking, what have you learned in your life lessons in 21 years of
my
being a
life
baby?
lessons? I think I think this is going to sound a bit weird. This business of wisdom, like the older you get, you become more wise. I don't think it's true. It's just that you become more accustomed to the merry-go-round of life, isn't it? It's like if you've been driving, because we live in Leicester, I can just about drive around Leicester with my eyes closed. I know where everything is. That's the same thing with life and life lessons, because now I know where many things are. So it's very easy to, it gets easier to navigate through life. But the things that I would say I've learned is, do not live your life through other people's lenses, number one. Because some people's lenses were cleaned 1,000 years ago and they're very cloudy.
Or they've got the wrong prescription.
Or they've got the wrong prescription, so they actually can't see. So, learn to smile more. Don't take everything personal, because it's hardly ever personal. That's one thing I've figured out. And this is Diary 101 for all the overthinkers out there, because I'm a bit of an overthinker. If it's going to happen, it is going to happen. And you can't do anything to stop it.
Yeah.
You might prolong the pain. You might, prolong whatever. But if it's going to happen, it is going to happen, What else have I learned about life? Don't have kids. They are never a blessing. It's just a very expensive, and they never go away. They get into their 20s, they're still your children.
They start reproducing.
And they start reproducing.
You more
There you go. And they start reproducing and yeah. But I am very grateful for my life. There's nothing I can erase in it. The worst memories, the greatest memories, the mediocre memories, they are what make me who I am. So, it sounds a bit cliche, but I actually mean it. Because there's no part of my life I could, because everything in my life is very interconnected. Some of the bad episodes have led me into some very, very good and lucrative episodes. Some not so great episodes have ended up being, when I look at them, I laugh or I cringe, or whatever it is. But I think my life as it is, I'm very grateful for it. And to see yet another year, I don't know what this year is going to bring me.
Money.
Yeah, money, testimony.
And a rich grandpa. Actually, guys, so if you guys know any rich grandpas who are looking for a missus, mom is single, and maybe that's what this year has.
No, on romance, let me tell you something. I'm a very jaded soul when it comes to relationships. I am so jaded. The amount of times when I look at people and I worry for them, especially when people are starting their new relationships. And I think my biggest thing, we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? My biggest thing is I've seen, obviously that again comes with age, isn't it? And what the lessons that we learn. I've seen, particularly in our community, in our community, and no one comes for me, because if you come for me, I'll come back, because that is my own experience and that is what it's my truth.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen many people go through in relationships where they are love bombed right from the beginning. You know, tons of love bombing.
Let's talk about it. Yes.
So a lot of love bombing where you can't think, and you think this person is. There are two reasons why people love bomb people. Number one, they're very self-aware. That's the first reason. They're very self-aware. They know that their penchant to romance lasts anything from 0 to 6 weeks. So they want to lock you in, hold you hostage within those 6 weeks. So they love bomb you, stop you from thinking, do all these above, you know, ridiculous grand gestures, so to stop you from thinking. And they know that after 6 weeks, you know, the real person will start seeping out. So before that real person starts seeping out, and before they catch up on you and the real you'd have already been hooked, and you're now in a hostage situation where society is telling you can't leave that man because that's your man, pray for him. Social media, of course, you've been taking all these lovely pictures with balloons and stuff. You don't know how to, exactly, Nemaruva, you don't know how to go back and say, you know, that man was trash after all. So you are now in this hostage situation with this person who actually isn't the love bomber that they were showing you. So yeah, so it's you know, it comes thick and fast, so that they can capture you. And once you're captured, that's it. And that's why I'm saying I'm a bit jaded, because even when people announce their relationships on social media, I'm very wary about it, because I know what is going on. This person is marking you for taken, right? So that it becomes very difficult and awkward. Exactly. It becomes very difficult and awkward for you to then go back.
Yeah.
You know, after those 6 weeks of serious hostage captivity, and say, you know what, it wasn't all that. You can't then go back. So that's the first type of love bombing. The other love bombing is the more dangerous one. Is the narcissist. It's nothing about you. You are a treasure to them. So they are just giving you all these things to feed their narcissistic supply. They actually do not care for you as a person. It's about, you know, how much control or power they have over you. Right. So it's those two scenarios which make it very difficult for me now to, you know, when people are starting to say, oh, I'm just thinking, which one of these two are you? You know, and that's how jaded and tainted I am as a person, that I can't celebrate these things. I can't see them for the innocence. I have to unpack them. I have to, I just can't go with the flow. And I think also being this mature, the going with the flow doesn't work, because I don't have time for that, you know.
I do hear what you're saying. A lot of relationships, especially with social media, they are unrealistic. And I feel like sometimes as women or even young girls, they'll like aspire and like pursue a relationship with the flowers and the I love yous and balloons and the little candles on the floor.
Yes, because and recently,
and the men will give you that, but doesn't mean they're a good man.
Right. So I know that you're going to see this episode way later, because we are shooting in arrears, if that makes sense. So when you see this, probably by that time, the research teasers, because right now, around social media, there is international social media, international TikTok, there's this lady called Risa Tisa who's doing rounds because they were in a relationship with some very weird man called people have been calling him Lesions, because he's got this funny mapundu around his beard.
What they call?
No, his name is Legion. He was called Legion, but people have changed it to Lesions because of those, so that's what's happening. International TikTok. Nearer to home, you wouldn't even know this, because I only found out about this. And I feel so strongly about this. Yeah. Comment section, if you've been following it as well, because I only caught wind, because yesterday I had a day of reflection. I was in bed the whole day. So I tend to go and see what the internet is saying. My life, to be honest, has never been informed by the internet, but I like any other person, I'm a consumer of internet or social media postings. I don't want to call them drama, but shenanigans. So basically, there's a guy from our country. His name is Gift Kalonga, right?
Okay.
So Gift Kalonga was in a, so this is the part where we do all this, catch up on what's happening on, so because she doesn't do my kind of social media, she's on another kind of social media. So I catch up with her, and touch base with her. So basically there's this guy called Gift Kalonga, right? He's Zimbabwean. Was in a relationship, I don't know, and quote me, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if it's Zambia or Malawi, was in a relationship with this lovely girl called Jessie from Zambia or Malawi. This girl, right, lent Shona for this guy. Was doing TikToks in Shona, adopted as aunts and uncles from the region, and was loving on us because of her man, who's this Gift Kalonga, right? So what does Gift Kalonga do? Gift Kalonga, and she's a curvy girl. She could be a size 18-ish. I don't know, and I'm so sorry, Jess, if you're not a size 18. I'm not even coming for you. She's a very beautiful. She's got such a beautiful soul. It radiates, because I didn't know about her until yesterday. I didn't know about this girl, so I went on her TikTok. If you see her, what she posts is wholesome. Those girls you want to take home to mom. That's her. And I wish, Jessie, I wish you all the best. Meet Shurugu Gift Kalonga, right?
Not the Shurugu.
So this girl is doing everything, giving this guy her all attention, learning the language, learning the culture for her man, doing all these TikToks together. What does this guy do? This guy goes and finds a skinnier girl, right? And proposes to her in front of this whole world just a few days after. I don't know the timeline, but from what people are saying, the timeline was not timelining. It wasn't like there was any cooling off period, because it was literally they had broken off.
Okay.
But I don't think that Gift would have found somebody in that short space of period, fallen in love and engaged. So I'm assuming this girl was always in the back burner, and then she was just put to the front. So why I started, it was picked up by some Zimbabwean girl who was apologizing on behalf of all the Zimbabwean men who are doing these bad things to girls who are not from our country. That's where I picked it up from. Then I went and saw this Jess girl. She's holding, I don't know if she's still numb, because I think it's been a month since this has happened, but she's holding herself well. But imagine, that's the love bombing we're talking about. You love somebody to the extent that their whole persona is now around you, to the extent that they're now speaking your language, and then you just decide one day, yeah, I'm bored. Then you just move on.
My argument.
So what is she supposed to do with that Shona now? What is she supposed to do with all the Shona she's left?
Go find another one.
She shouldn't come back to Zimbabwe.
There's plenty of eligible bachelors within our community.
Shona, not Shona, Zimbabwean.
It's Zimbabwean.
Zimbabwe.
It's a lie. There's good Zimbabwean men out there. What do you mean?
I'm not saying there isn't.
Like Rio. Look, Rio's a good Zimbabwean
man.
No,
we're not talking of Rio. Rio and what's Rio, Chaminuka, Winky D, and who else?
Oh, but they're married though, aren't they? We're not single Zimbabwean.
No, we're not talking of eligible bachelors. We're just talking of good men. He's a good man, Savannah. Yeah, those ones. Yeah.
I was saying that my idea, like, when it comes to relationships, I think a lot of people don't do the self-work. Like, they don't work on themselves, and then they get into a relationship with all of this trauma and just abuse other people. That's why I genuinely believe.
Miss me with the psychotherapy.
It's true.
No, let me tell you something. I think our expectations for each other in relationships are high up there, and they're being set by these people who put balloons, flowers, Mercedes-Benz on social media.
No, I'm talking about after the balloons. After the balloons have deflated and the flowers are now brown, but you've already
been loved.
But for the relationship to last, because somebody can do all of these grand gestures to woo you.
You know how this relationship. You know how these relationships last. The women learn to be cute and mute. I know from even my mother's generation. What used to happen is our fathers openly cheated on our mothers, and our mothers stayed, not because they'd done a lot of, self-work for themselves, on themselves. They just learned to tolerate it and keep it pushing. thank God for the gift of therapy. And I know you are a great believer in it. Talking therapy is amazing. And I think people should check themselves into premarital, therapy. But now you are here, you are there, you've been love bombed, you are there. What do you do? Is the question.
We're not saying that. I'm not talking about the narcissists and the manipulators. I'm talking about the average guy who may have issues, right? Not because I feel like people think courting is love bombing because that's how it's been commercialized. That if you like somebody and you want to get their attention, you do all of these grand things to get them that you cannot sustain. So I'm saying that if you're coming from a place where you've done like work on yourself and you know what exactly it is that you want, you will approach the rest of the relationship a bit differently. Like you will actually be a communicator because the person you meet in the first 3 weeks is so different to the person that you may be with 3 months later. And most of the issues that people have in relationships are centered around communication. That's the main thing. A lot of people don't know how to communicate.
I personally think if you want to marry somebody who knows how to communicate, go to a ganzewe. That's no mromo, just an E. Because I think as a community we are not very kind to each other. That's what I need to say. Regardless of whatever relationship, platonic, romantic, familial, we are not very kind to each other. So imagine, where will you find the kindness to give the person you are living with every day? And we normalize, because I saw a lady one time, and she's very popular, so I don't want to name her, because it's none of my business to name other people, because one of us, we are here because I'm trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure it out. Everyone is trying to figure things out, guys. So this person, right, came on social media. And you could tell from her voice she was in pain. And
sorry, Mom. Don't shake your wrist too much.
Sorry.
Because it'll pick up on the mic.
Okay, so she was in pain. Let me take it off then.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what to do with my hands. She was in pain, this lady, right? In serious pain. And she was talking about how this guy, presented themselves as a very nice guy, but they're now going after young girls. And, in that moment, in that anger, she said so many things that were very problematic. That, if I, because this is the thing I'm always, raising Coco, what I've always said to her growing up is, don't go to a place where you can't return. When I've gone to places where I can't return, I'm okay with the relationship. Never ever going to see that person again, because everything has been outed. I've got nothing else to say. But if you know that that's the father of your children and you intend to go back, some things, go and sleep over them and then come back when you're. Because she said a lot of. She said a lot of things, and the things that she was saying were coming from a very deep space of hurt. And I know that everything that she said in that, a moment of vulnerability was true. She believed it, and there was evidence to suggest that was happening. But my issue is that social media has done a lot of things which are very detrimental to relationships, put a lot of pressure on relationships, put a lot of judgment on relationships, put a lot of need to explain to strangers that would never ever see, and commercializing relationships, right? And I think people should go to therapy more. And
before, during, and after
relationships. And also it doesn't help with these manosphere things that are coming into play as well.
Yes, that is very true, because then the expectations of one another are very skewed.
They are so skewed. And this is the thing, I will say this with my whole chest. If he catches wind of it, that's fine, fair enough. I judge people who follow Shaddai. I judge them very, very. I don't judge Shaddai. Shaddai knows exactly what he's doing. Shaddai has got an agenda and he's fulfilling his agenda, right? There are people, if I'm talking to somebody on a business level, on a personal level, if I go on my Twitter and I find that they follow Shaddai, I judge them very harshly because it's one thing you bumping into this manosphere rhetoric and, leaving it where you find it, or maybe listening and going, but actually following it means that you need a daily dose, a daily update. You are subscribing to that. You are subscribing to a person who doesn't like me because of choices that maybe I didn't even make, who doesn't like me because I had a child and maybe my husband died, who calls me Chiboran.
What does that mean?
So it's because apparently, because if you have many men have been through you, your whole vagina is this large, like a borehole. Yeah. So and not he might have got no problems with people who say things like that. They've got their own personal agenda. It's the followers that concern me.
The platform.
Yeah.
Stupidity.
Exactly.
Because nobody has any power. We're the one who gives them.
Yeah. Power is very much given.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you find that it seeps into relationships. It seeps into how people want to deal with women. It seeps into, your day to day because of somebody like Shaddai. I was just said it one day to hate on. No, I don't know what his agenda is.
And it's very dangerous. I just think it's attention. Like, I do think that a lot of these, like, manosphere, like, women hating influencers, it's mainly to do with money and the fact that people give them attention. Like, that's it. And that's probably the only attention that they could ever they'll ever get in their lives.
Yeah.
Some people, like, you do content, different types of content, and then if you do a particular video that's a bit crazy and then you get loads of attention, you'll keep on doing that. And I think a lot of the people, they don't set out to be, like, they've woken up like, I'm going to be king of the misogynist. But they get a bit of attention and then they run with it.
So are we saying that there are so many men out there who are really hurt by women that they are looking for somebody who says what they are thinking?
Yeah, the incels. I watched a documentary about incels the other day. It was like, the boy was like 20 and he was saying in his whole life he's never had any friends, he's never dated, and he came across this whole community of other men who feel the same way. Right. So I think there's a lot of really sad, lonely, disenfranchised, or they think they're disenfranchised men, and they found a space on the internet and people who are willing to capitalize off that community. I think that's literally all it is.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It is sad. So relationships, guys, true love is very much under attack.
Yeah.
It's got all these factors. It's got social media telling you that the way you can only love a woman is buying a Range Rover and fill the back with thousands and thousands of roses. Or, the only way to love a woman is to ensure that she's flown out all the time. So there's a lot at play when it comes to relationships. And authenticity has been thrown out of the window as well, because you have to be a certain aesthetic for the internet and everybody to accept you. And those aesthetics that we are putting each other under pressure, so I'm just saying, go to therapy. Be very realistic about your relationship if you find one. People don't wake up every morning rolling in very fresh white linen and there's music playing in the background. That's not real life. And those people who are influencing that are lying. That's all I can say about it.
Oh my gosh, I hear you, girl. So in our last episode, we were talking about the fast, like 5 years in the UK. So we're going to move it chronologically.
Yeah.
So we were in the factories, we were folding our chicken.
Yeah.
And then
we were folding chicken. We folded chicken, guys. I think any job in the UK you can think about, from folding chicken, from working in care home. So basically, I don't know, because I'm going from my head, and the thing about the truth, that you can't change the truth, can you? So if you are recapping from my chicken folding days. So from my chicken folding days, I had a hater. Can you imagine? She's still alive, a whole hater. So, like when you start folding chicken, it's an art in itself. And, I have got so much respect for people who still do it up until this day, because there is an art to it. And bear in mind, you're doing it on a conveyor belt, which is moving.
No, after the factory, what happened after?
No, I just wanted to recap on that.
Okay.
Yeah. But after the factories, I went to the care homes. So I was just saying props up to everybody who still works in those cold ass freezers, folding chicken for somebody to come in and fold it. You've got my respect. So I went to the care home. In the care home, that's where I met my first ever best friend. Bear in mind, I was so fresh off the boat. My dressing was not on point. I didn't know what to put on my body. I just wore whatever it is that I found. And I was in my 20s, dressing like a 55-year-old woman. I wore costumes, guys, to work sometimes because I just didn't know what was there to wear. And she was very stylish and very trendy. She was one of those people who had come from Zimbabwe actually knowing what to wear. So she said to me, my friend, your outfits are a bit weird. I appreciated her for that because she could have, because I think everybody there was laughing at me most of the time. And then she said to me, she actually offered, she said, you know what, on Saturday, do you mind if we come together and go shopping? And we went shopping and she shopped for me. And for once, I actually looked my age. I got all these nice little Gouv House jeans and stuff like that, and it was nice. And I had a friend in her and we became very good friends. So from that time, we used to go to work. So bear in mind, there's something we used to do then. And if you're offered a job, you'd learn on the job. But one thing I found was that's maybe why I was sort of like attracted to the care industry, if you like, because I actually resonated with people who needed help. I couldn't see myself working with people in retail. Because people in retail are so over entitled. You buy a dress, and it's not even my color. I like it, But if you're taking care of people who are vulnerable, there's an element of you giving back. You actually giving somebody something they need. Without you, they will not be washed. Without you, they will not be fed. They will not be tended in bed. So that sense of duty, that sense of servitude to another community was what I started realizing that was what I was about because of my first care job. And I really, really enjoyed it. It was hard work. But, because I was starting to make friends. I made a lot of friends at that particular care home. Some that became lifelong friends, some that were friends for a season. And saw me through some very difficult and challenging times of my life. And I'm very appreciative of that very first job. Then I moved on from there, went into support work, which was very easy work compared to what I was doing. Now it was working with people, with learning disabilities or challenging, enduring long-term mental health conditions. Enjoyed that work. I came out of myself and I remember my first ever shift. I worked with my manager, right? Because I was doing short morning hours because you were still in school and I needed to do the school run. So I worked with my manager all the time because he also did the same hours. So the first day he saw me, he realized I'd never done this kind of work before because I came in with my hair like this, and he didn't know how to tell me that when you're coming here, you tie your hair back and what. But I soon learned the hard way because one of the service users decided to yank my hair, not literally yank it, and wouldn't let go whilst I was answering the phone. But it didn't put me off. And I realized that I wanted to do something in care at that point. And it wasn't because it was easier to get into the care industry. It was actually my genuine love for helping others. So, yeah. So my next 5 years were literally moving from, trying to raise the children, working in the care homes, trying to figure out which career path to take. I knew then that I didn't want to do nursing, but I didn't know what else to do. I knew I wanted to do something in care, but not nursing. So the other time, a chap came to the one of the residential care homes I was working at that time, came in to see a chap and took them out, came back, did this very lengthy report from the 30 minutes that they'd been out with this guy. So I said, so what do you do exactly? And he says, I'm a mental health occupational therapist. I said, okay. And so what does that exactly entail? He says, okay, we we help people to reach their maximum potential, their maximum, their individual maximum potential, not mine, not yours, theirs. I said, I like that, you know. And there was no medical model in that. It's about what do you want to achieve? Let's help you achieve that. And I thought, that sounds really nice. So anyway, that friend of mine, you know, the friend who taught me how to dress, told me also about this particular course that you could go on to and go into healthcare. But it limited then people to do diplomas, not necessarily degrees.
Okay.
So I went in, and then I found out that occupational therapy, big up occupational therapists out there, you're amazing. The guys and girls in green, I have to shout them in there. I'm part of them. So anyway, so then I'm thinking, I don't want to do a diploma in nursing. I want to go and do a degree in OT. That's what I want to do. That's where my passion is. Because what I liked about it resonated with everything about me. I think people are individuals. You and I are not the same person. What you want to achieve is not necessarily what I want to achieve. What your goals are not necessarily the next person's goals. So I thought that's a very refreshing way of looking at service provision, you know, and there's not all these big words we use in healthcare which don't mean anything. It's literally, what do you want to do? And then we achieve that. So anyway, there wasn't a diploma for that. It was a degree. So I spoke to my then mentor about my wanting to go into OT, and they said, it's not possible. Because this is just offering it to diploma. But you know me, if people tell me it's not possible, I want it to be possible. I'm very stubborn like that. So I went on, did the whole program, finished the whole program, applied to go into OT. And I got an interview. And then I told my mentor, I said, I got an interview. And they said, well, they will interview you, but they won't offer you the place. Because this program you've done only allows you to go into a diploma.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do a degree, you should have done there's another 2-year program. So anyway, I went to the interview. Then I got in. I was excited, guys. I didn't know what to do with myself. I started preparing for this course. Started for 2 days. Couldn't continue. I couldn't continue.
So how did you find out? Like, what happened?
It was because of funding.
Did they call you to the office? Did you get a phone call, an email?
They
drag you out class?
No. So what happened was, obviously, because when prior to me starting, all this, there was all this humdrum buzzing, and people saying, oh, just go, they'll sort it out at admission. So I actually got enrolled in everything, started the course. Then I got called in by, I'll never forget him. His name was, I can't say names because I don't want to keep on saying people's names, but he was a very good lecturer. So he called me and said, you know what, just take this as destiny delayed is not destiny denied. Go and work on whatever you want to work on right now whilst you're waiting for, clarity in funding. And then when the time is right, you'll come. So I went back into care, and all my friends, the people that I had gone to this course with.
So when you're saying funding, what does that mean?
It means, because the degrees in this country, that time where the course I wanted to do was NHS funded,
okay.
But I didn't qualify for NHS funding.
Oh.
So because I didn't qualify for NHS funding, my degree couldn't be paid for. So I had to wait until I qualified. So anyway, it meant another, going back. And this is, to me, that's another lesson. I'm thinking back on everything that then transpired.
Yeah.
If I had gone to uni that time and finished, probably I would not have practiced. And because a lot of things, that's why I'm saying that so many things are interlinked in our lives, and because we don't have the blueprint on our life, we end up holding on or forcing things or dwelling over or crying over or feeling so sad when things don't go our way. I think I really was devastated that time, and because the people I'd gone to this program with, in my eyes, they were prospering and they were going on with their careers. But here I am, just stuck. And I really felt sorry for myself. And I said all these self-deprecating things. Trust me, nothing ever goes for me. I can't even, I'm a single parent in this country and nothing is going my way. But looking back now, if I'd gone to uni that time and qualified, I probably wouldn't have found any work. I wouldn't even be working I wouldn't have worked as an occupational therapist. So anyway, I went back on the grind. The first 3 months, I felt very sorry for myself. Really, really sorry for myself. And you want these quick fixes. I was looking at, maybe I'll do accounting. Maybe I'll do this. I'm bright. I'll go and do this. Maybe this whole care thing. But there was still that personal conviction within me that I still want to do something with people. So anyway, eventually I qualified for funding and I went back. And true to that lecturer's word, I didn't have to do any interview. I was given an unconditional offer. As soon as I applied, as soon as they saw my application, they gave me an unconditional offer. And then I went to Derby. It was the most amazing, time of my life. University of Derby was so good for me. We were not at the main campus when I went. We were studying off campus, which was nice because I got to know. It was such a very intimate setting, so you got to know everyone you were learning with. And I was in such a beautiful group. There wasn't a lot of us black people because it's OT in the nature of the profession is predominantly very white middle class. So there wasn't many of us, but I made some lifelong friends who I still up to now talk to, and it was really good. And then from then on, I qualified. And I remember the night before I actually finished the degree. At this point, I was now a mother of 2. Rio was now in the picture. So sometimes I used to go, because then it was different from now, how you guys are in uni, how you hand things over online and whatever. We actually used to have to go to campus with your little, word processed assignment. They take it in, they give you a receipt.
Oh, you have to take it to like a little office.
Yeah, you had to take it to the assignment office. There was a whole assignment office.
God.
These ladies were my lifesavers, because sometimes our assignment handing in time was 12 noon every day. So I'll drive, and sometimes I'll have Rio with me, and we get to the stairs. Rio wants to come up and down the stairs, wants to do all these things, and it's 11:45, or sometimes it's 5:12. So what they would do is, they would still take my assignment as not late, even if I would get there at 12:10. They were amazing girls. And I said to them, when I finish this, I'm going to twerk for you guys. So anyway, so whilst I'm going through all this, I remember I used to talk to my dad like every day, and during that time, just giving him updates, life updates, this is what's happening. And he was like sort of my rock, because even when I had Rio, when I was pregnant with Rio, I wasn't sure what trajectory for my life to take. And my father was a very kind man. And he knew exactly what to say to me. So just before I qualified, in my last month of training to be an OT, he then passed away. I was actually in the middle of writing my dissertation, and it was very, very sad. I got a lot of support from uni, a lot of support from my community. But, it just gives you that level of... Because he had tried to call me, I think, the day before, 3 days before he passed away. He had tried to call me, and I was sleeping because I'd done a night shift. So I looked at my mobile phone, and I was like, when I wake up, I'm going to call him. I never did. I woke up, got busy with Rio. The following day, got busy again. The third day, still got busy. And then the fourth day, I was told he's passed away. Because it was very sudden. It wasn't like, and it was hard. And, that to be removed away from you, you just sometimes feel like you're not anchored. So there was an element of not knowing how I'm going to finish my dissertation, how I'm going to go and bury my dad and come back. But I found a lot of comfort from uni, even when these ladies, who had actually become part of my journey, when they found out about my bereavement, they're like, oh, you know what, you go and speak to so and so. They signposting me to the right places. And then when I spoke to that same lecturer who had told me that destiny delayed is not destiny denied, he said to me, I understand your situation. I know exactly how you've been doing on this course. If you want to finish your dissertation and you come back, it's okay. If you want to end part of it and what your conclusion would have been, I'm still okay with that. But I think for me, it's always been about starting and finishing things. So I wanted to finish my dissertation, so I did, and I handed it in and I passed. And on my graduation, I felt like I carried my dad with me. He was there, and it was nice because there's this thing where people, again, when people say generational cases and stuff like that, I felt I broke the ceiling that our family had set up, because I come from a family from my father's side, it's a family of traders. All my uncles, my aunts have always traded, and that's what they've done, and their children after them and their grandchildren after them, they're all traders. And I broke that ceiling that our family had sort of set for each other, that we are all going to be traders, and went on to be the first degreed person in my family. And I did it for myself, I did it for my nieces, my nephews, other people, to show that there is that possibility that if you put your mind to it, regardless of where you're coming from or what your background says, you will still you'll achieve it. So when I finished my dissertation, I went to Nabra Road, got it bound, dedicated it to you and my dad, and took it to Derby. I get there, and they've got this whole boombox. And they said, you promised us that when you hand this in, you're going to twerk for us. And I did. I twerked for them because they were very good people. And I enjoyed my stay at Derby, and coming out with a whole Bachelor's of Science was amazing. And going on subsequently to work with very different communities as an OT was also, brilliant. And during my earlier career, I had lovely mentors in Dr. Robin, who is an amazing, still my friend up to now. I call upon him when I need, when problems cannot be solved or problems are probleming. He's always got a very good solution. I made loads of amazing friends along the way, people who actually, edged me on. And I remember there was a time when I worked very closely to Grenfell Tower, and being given that privilege to be in places where I can see humanity, I can see love, I can see loss, I can see grief. Taking that first-hand seat as a professional, but also as a human being, was very humbling. And working through the rest of COVID as well. So it was my whole career was very humbling, because I've been put in places where, although challenging, I felt I made the right difference. So looking back, I think I did the right thing for myself by, working with people, because I really enjoy people. I love people. I've got a genuine love for people. I don't like some people's energies sometimes, but I genuinely think that humanity is amazing, despite of our own flaws. So that was me. So, although I had a few setbacks going, as funding issue where I couldn't get funding, I eventually trained. At the end of the degree, I lose my dad. There was a lot of setbacks, a lot of challenges. Being bullied in placement was another one. Yeah. So I went on my final placement for my degree, and I met this woman. Oh, you know what? Thunder, fire, follow her. And when people, I think, because when I qualified, I was very aware, self-aware, and that experience also made me realize the importance of good leadership, the importance of good mentorship, the importance of taking people from any station as who they are, right? This woman really put me through rounds and got me actually questioning the whole situation, that actually, can I actually read and write? Because she would say things like, I think you need to see people because I think you're dyslexic. The way you speak English, you're going to upset the patients, or things like that. Very nasty things, just chipping at my self-confidence. And you will meet people like that. And I think for a long, long time, I really disliked her. But I think she was important in my journey, because I now understand the importance of leadership and of being a good mentor. And I think the people I've worked with can attest, if they see this, that I've always tried to be fair, and I've always tried to look at people from where they're coming from and what they're bringing in. Because, sometimes it takes 1,000 tasks for a person to wake up and get ready to come to work and serve another community. We don't realize that some people have got, caring responsibilities, their own personal health to look after, financial issues. You are waiting for the next paid day, stress from relationships, all these other things that are screaming for their attention, and yet they show up. So sometimes we have to celebrate people for showing up, just showing up, before they then start doing what they're amazing at. But I don't think some people think like that. That, you know what, maybe then I had a young son who had, who's got autism, who I'm trying to settle in nursery. I've just, life is lifing at this particular moment. Other things apart from uni. So can you cut me some slack? So when we meet people, it's very important to look at them and think, maybe they're just having a bad day. Be kind. So whoever you meet at any given day, choose kindness. Because it's very easy to follow the bandwagon and be a bully and just not be nice. And just be... Now, you see, I met many other people who were very nice to me along, but I remember her more because of how ugly her soul was.
How exceptionally bad vibes.
How exceptionally bad vibes the person was. So it is with great sadness that she's made it to this podcast as a villain. You are a cow. It's not nice to make people feel like they don't matter, because everybody matters. Everybody has something to contribute.
I think it was worse because she was a black woman as well, isn't it?
Sure.
I think if you encounter bullying from another black woman who's in a position of leadership, bullying is wrong, full stop. But when you see it from somebody who should understand you to some level of degree, or who should want to bring you in and like mentor you and guide you, but they decide to be the big bad wolf, it's very disappointing.
It's very disappointing. And the thing is, I've found, and I'm not generalizing, and I don't want to generalize, I'm talking about my own personal journey. I found the people that have bullied me or tried to bully me from the time I was chicken packing were people, women of my own color.
Sad.
It is really sad. And you think, okay, how are we going to achieve, greatness as a people?
It's the environment, isn't it? Like, if you're operating in an environment of like white supremacy, if you're the one black person who makes it through the door, you feel like there's a pressure to be, I didn't even want to say the word.
Yeah.
You feel like you have to be exceptional and you have to pander towards the status quo. So you end up doing the bidding. It's kind of like when you see black or Asian people in politics, instead of being the people to stand for the communities and say the right things, they'll pander to the agenda.
Yeah, and
that's what I think. I think it's the pressure of the system that makes them like that.
There was one of my service managers. She wasn't like that, and I had a lot of respect for her because I know what it took. Because when I got into those boardrooms, I realized, gosh, how hard must it have been for her to stand up and stick up for the minority workforce in this very white boardroom. Because what you find is, when you work and you get into management, there's the whole management culture that is about about delivering, and you are a minority working in this very predominantly white environment, and there's an expectation of you to deliver. So you end up becoming the what are they called? Those people who, used to work at plantations
in the house. That's the word I was
not the ones in the house. They're the ones that used to put the slaves, the taskmasters, if you like. So it's just the nature of the beast. But I think having that experience earlier on in my career made me very self-aware. I needed to be very careful on how I managed people. I needed to be careful on how I related with people, because I didn't want to pander to anyone's agenda. Or to make people feel that they are not very well represented. Because that's what it all boils down to. That this person is not for me because they are not about me, kind of situation. So it is very important, wherever you are, wherever you work, or whatever, just try and be nice.
Yeah, be nice.
Yeah. Be nice.
Be nice.
And the thing is, the world is a very funny place.
The return on investment on kindness is so high,
It is so high. And, we don't tend to realize it. People invest a lot in being...
Money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they
being
forget...
attractive.
Yeah. Then they forget that actually, being that hard doesn't do anything for anyone. It doesn't. There's nothing I've seen anyone achieve by chimonya, chishurugwi, kuitatu asha. I've never seen anyone achieve anything from that. Any business or personal or professional relationships I've built is because we've met in a canteen. Like one of my lifelong friends, I stood up for her from her manager, and these were two white women. It was a family meeting which I happened to overhear, and I was like, no, you do not get to speak to her like that. It's unacceptable. To this day, she's one of my dearest friends, and everything else that has happened has always been a blessing to me. But it was because of that one encounter. Because I just thought, silence is violence. I can't let this woman speak to another grown woman who's left a whole family and a husband at home like they're 5. I said, you don't get to, in any capacity, you don't get to speak to her like that. And since that day, that particular lady never spoke to anyone like that. Because sometimes it takes somebody checking you. And we need to also check ourselves before we wreck ourselves.
Yeah.
Because most of the time we think by being nasty, we are, shiganvosta, we are really...
It's cute.
It's not cute.
It's not cute to be like a 30-year-old mean girl.
No.
Like, that's not giving anything.
No, it isn't.
I think it's cute when you're in school, because
Even
maybe
in
you've
school.
watched too many movies and
Even in school,
you don't know better, your prefrontal cortex isn't developed.
I suppose because I mean, if it's school, you just think because you're following everybody, isn't it? And you just want to survive the day. But now when we are self-actualized grown women, it's just not right.
No.
Everyone I've known is because either they've been kind to me or I've been kind to them. I don't have a friend I can't touch ever.
Yeah, it's true.
So why I used to teach Rio this song when he was younger, where it says, why be a bully? Because a bully is not a friend. It's as simple as that. You don't get anything. You just get people disliking you to the yes when you're like that.
It's true.
Yeah. So.
Well, have you wrapped up?
No, we haven't wrapped up.
You look like you're looking inside. How long have you got?
We've got 7 more minutes.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah. This thing, I was just thinking the other day, I was thinking about, what was I thinking about? I've started journaling again. But because you do the journaling and, you love journals and stuff like that.
I'm the...
I don't like journaling. I was thinking, when I look at the things I've written about, when I look back at the stuff I write.
Do you read your journals?
I do.
I can't. Once I've written it, I can't look back at it.
So what's the point then?
To get out your feelings. Do you ever write text messages and then you don't send them?
No, once I write a message, it's going.
I go on notes and then I'll write out like a text message, like get out of my feelings, and then I just won't send it.
Oh no!
So that's the same thing. With
I read my my journals back,
Don't
and
you
they make me
cringe?
really cringe. I mean, I cringe. I get so embarrassed. Like, if anyone was to get hold of my journal and hold it hostage, I'll pay them $1 million. I would actually be forever. Because some of the things you think, oh my gosh, and if you wait a bit longer before you read them as well, you think, what were you thinking?
Was I on
Drugs. Yeah.
I can't read them. I've got too much shame. Like, I don't want to see myself like that.
I saw what.
Especially if you've ever written a journal. Like, when we started year 7 at my secondary school,
Yeah.
our form tutor made us write letters to ourselves to read on the last day of year 11. So in my letter, I was talking about this boy, mom.
That's what I'm talking about. I had this particular one, right?
It was so embarrassing.
This is my journal from 5 years. I found it when I was cleaning.
Yeah.
Then 6 years ago. I was reading it and my ears were starting to block. From the embarrassment, I felt so hot. It's like somebody was standing on a podium reading this, love-sick teenager much.
Like, are you okay?
It was so embarrassing.
That's very embarrassing. So I don't read them.
You just write a note.
I just write and I leave it there. Like, for me, it's a way to get out my...
So it's
Because
like bleeding
like,
your feelings.
to just get out my feelings. So I feel like when you're going through like a stressful time,
Yeah.
and there's like a antagonist in the
Yeah.
story and you're the protagonist,
Yeah.
right? You feel the need to like explain yourself or like message the other person or cuss them out. But in situations like that, you have to really gather yourself. So if you journal it, you get that feeling of like gathering or validating or
It doesn't-
explaining, but you don't shame yourself.
But journaling doesn't give me that.
Oh, really?
It doesn't give me that release. It gives me that standardized, standardized way of assessing myself. So if I look at things that I was saying 5 years ago, it shows me the growth. So I like reading them back.
Okay, that
It
makes
shows
sense.
me growth. That, oh my goodness, me.
I think that's what it's supposed to be for.
Like was I thinking like that 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Whatever got into me to think like that?
Yeah.
So to me, it's a way of congratulating myself with a lot of shame as well. But it's internal shame. It's
Yeah.
internalized. It's not bad, horrible shame where I can't leave the house. Kind of. It's just like and sometimes I laugh at the things I was saying then and what was happening. Because what I tend to do also, I don't not only journal my feelings, I journal what's happening around me. So for reference.
Yeah.
So like now, in one of my journal entrances I was talking about, Risa Tisa. So it's just for me to go back and thinking when this was happening in the world, what was happening in my own personal life, and just see where things are.
I think that's how you're supposed to do it. Like,
Yeah.
That's not what I do it for. Like, I just do it to get out those feelings. Like having a chat or like ranting. It's more for ranting for me. To just get out that rant. Like the other day when I was being cooked on the internet. After I did my journal, I felt fine,
Yeah.
Because I thought like anything that I would have said, I would just put it down on paper, and not everybody needs to hear like what you have to say. Keep it to yourself, because more times you're not really adding anything to the conversation.
No. No. There's a nice way of wrapping up today's podcast.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in. Those who have come and stayed until the end, we are grateful. Thank you.
See you on episode 4.
Yeah.